So I started Vision about 2 years ago and basically had a lot of weight to lose and hadn't been successful doing it on my own. So Vision was recommended by a friend and came in and signed up on my IC, and yeah, 2 years later here I am and still loving it.
Yeah, I joined about a year after Kate. I saw the results that she'd achieved in the time that she'd been here. Certainly inspired by that. I was feeling a little bit left behind, so I made the decision to come and join. I had a lot of weight to lose and have been fairly successful. Happy with where I am now, and it's been a fantastic journey.
So when I first came to Vision I weighed 143 kilos. I'm now down to 73, so I've lost pretty much half my body weight, which is pretty amazing. It's been a long journey, and I guess probably the best thing for me is it's been sustainable. So I've lost chunks at a time, sustained that. It's cost me a fortune in clothes because I've dropped so many dress sizes, and every time obviously I lost about 10 kilos, I'd have to go and buy more clothes. So I made my work shirts do as long as I could till people started saying get those rags off. But yeah, it's amazing. It's obviously my life's changed dramatically, and I'm half the person I was. So yeah, I just have to keep telling him that I need the clothes. So it is good to be able to go and buy pretty much whatever I want off the rack. Yeah,
when I started I was 157 kilos. I've been now down to under 107, so I've lost over 50 kilos. I lost 30 odd kilos pretty quickly, and then the rest I've ground away over the last 8 or 9 months. But in that process, I've been training for events and entering in events I never thought I'd entered before. So hence there's been a lot of training around specific events and to get my body right for specific events. So the weight loss has continued to come down, but I've also been able to manage the weight loss as long as becoming probably fitter now than I've ever been, to be able to compete in some of the events that I have. So it's the good bit of it about it's been the real balance. So it's been the weight loss and the fitness part of it as well, which has made me extremely happy and exciting. It's been exciting times the last 12 months, and I have the same issue with clothes, although I don't make a big deal about it. But I've had to buy a new wardrobe a couple of times as well. Yeah, the biggest event I had was to sit on the lounge and watch football and drink alcohol. But I don't do that anymore. I made a decision 3 months after I started here. I entered my first event. That was a 10-kilometre run around Homebush. Did it in 72 minutes, and then did it again this year. So 12 months on, and took 17 minutes off my time. Took it down to just under 55 minutes. So that's when you can really see the results you've achieved. And it took 12 months to go from one event to the other, but to take 17 minutes off over a 10k run was amazing. So. Well, when I first started, I set a goal to run a marathon inside 2 years of joining here. And I realistically at the time thought that might have been a bit pie in the sky sort of stuff, but set out on the journey with my trainer, always been a fairly competitive person, wanted to get back into doing some sort of events. Didn't know whether I'd be able to make the time frame with respect to the marathon, but after 12 months, made the decision to enter it and did it after 12 months of being here. So I did it 12 months earlier than the original plan. Extremely happy with the time I finished. It's one of the most painful things I've ever done, but I loved it and I want to do it again. And so as a result of that, I keep finding events to do all the time. I want to keep myself involved in events, whether it's running, triathlons that we're about to do next year. Different events of different lengths, but just to do something on a regular basis, whether it's one a month, one every 2 months, so that I know that I've always got a goal in front of me, and that I'm training for those goals and those events that come around pretty quickly.
So when I first joined Vision, my original goal was obviously just weight loss, and when I used to have my goal sessions, I just continually talked about weight loss. I'd probably been here about 4 months when my trainer said to me, we need to set you a goal to achieve something. And I said, I'm achieving my weight loss. And they said, yeah, but something outside your weight loss. And in came the Mother's Day Classic, which was an 8k run, and I laughed and said, no way I can do that. I did it, and my best friend came and supported me and did it with me, which was great. So I ran probably the first 5k's of it and then walked the last 3, but the fact that I finished it was great. And pretty much after that I said, right, I'm doing this every Mother's Day. That was my goal on Mother's Day, and we took the kids with us, which was a really nice way to spend the morning. But I kept entering the events that Vision promote. Obviously, they tell you the events that are up and coming around Sydney. So I've been entering pretty much every event that they put up on the board, apart from things like the mud run. I'm not into mud. But I've done the Sydney Running Festival and the Sydney Tower Run Up, which was the 1,504 crazy stairs. That was an experience. The City to Surf. But I find entering them and knowing that they're coming up keeps you on track as well. So you've always got a goal there. It stops you slipping back into bad habits, which is, you know, an awesome way to keep you going too. So, and then probably the most exciting one I did this year was the Pinky Triathlon. So that was the swim, then the run and the bike, and it was really, really windy on the Saturday. So riding the bike was a bit of a challenge, but thankfully my husband and brother were waiting up the end of the hill for me, waving, going, you can keep going. So finished that, got off the bike and went, when's the next one? So we've just entered one for March next year in Huskinson, and I can't wait. Before changing my lifestyle, no way, wouldn't have even thought about joining any of these events. Now when I join them, I get quite nervous. You know, I'm not competing for anything but myself, but I do get nervous when I enter them, and probably work myself into a bit of a frenzy for a day or two before, because I want to finish, I guess. Unlike Steve, I probably don't feel as strong strength-wise. I am, but I kind of underestimate myself sometimes. So every event I finish, I just have a big smile on my face going, wow, I can do this. And that's what pushes you over the edge to do the next one. You know, you finish and everyone's so happy for you. And, you know, the trainers here are amazing. You know, if they're not at the event cheering you on, they're ringing you and texting you saying, how'd you go? Where are you up to? There's always someone wanting to know. So that keeps me going as well.
My experience with my trainer, we started here at the same time together, and you know, I think it was important that, you know, that he had some clients when he first started, and I happened to be one of his first ones, and we've forged a very strong relationship over the year and a bit that I've been here. The important thing for me is to know that, you know, I have to get out of bed because he's waiting for me every time that I'm booked in. And I get here and he's always, you know, encouraging me to better myself and to try harder and to do heavier weights and to go longer distances and do things quicker. And whenever you start to have self-doubt, you know, he's able to instill in me the belief that I can do anything. You know, there's no more thought process anymore about why I can't do something. It's just how I'm going to get it done, and that's what he's instilled in me. And you know, we've become really good friends over the time. And you know, all the events that we've entered, you know, we've both been lucky that our trainers have come to cheer us on at them. And some of the things that they've entered to themselves personally in the time, we've been able to go and encourage them as well. So it's a two-way relationship. It's a fantastic relationship. You know, sometimes we're probably a little bit closer than we like. And I always say that my trainer's the son I never had, but it's a fantastic relationship, and I'd be lost without him. And I'm only where I am because of what he's been able to get out of me.
I've been with my trainer obviously for 2 years, and obviously we've formed a really close relationship over 2 years. So, but one of the first things I remember about Wes was I'd only been here about 3 months, and it was Christmas Day. And I think one of the first text messages I got on my phone was from my trainer, hi, Merry Christmas, watch what you eat today, see you next week. And I was like, are you kidding me? It's Christmas Day. But the thing with the trainers and that relationship you build, it's so important because they're what motivate you, whether it's via a text message, and they just send random text messages to see how your day's going. And Wes is pretty perceptive of what sort of a mood I'm in, and if I'm having a bad time at work, he knows it just by my, you know, my persona in the gym, and he'll send me text messages throughout the day. He knows my weak points and can pick up on them and text me, or he'll give me a phone call for nothing in particular, just how are you going, what are you up to? And just, yeah, it keeps you obviously on track because you know that they're always looking out for you, which I think is really important. You know, you can go, you know, I've joined other gyms where you've just been a number and there hasn't been that support. They show you through the gym once and they pretty much walk away from you with a program that you have no idea how to work. So I think that one-on-one relationship, obviously, it's been the difference with me without a doubt. And while it's about yourself, you know, you come in on a Monday maybe after a weekend that you shouldn't have had, and you feel like you're letting them down as well because they put so much effort and time into you, and they make it all about you, you know. And I know the guys here, they've got more than one client each, but when you're with them, it's, you know, you are their only client, so it's really personable.
The program is designed around the 80-20 rule, so 80% nutrition, 20% exercise. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that, it feels like it's all exercise, but the nutrition part of it is really important. We've spent a lot of time in this, particularly in the initial stages. We'd plan out whole weeks of meals and we'd write them in our diary, and the key is to get it into your diary so you understand where you are and what you're doing. Don't cheat yourself in your diary. Put what you're actually doing into your diary. If you do something wrong, put it in the diary anyway. But the key is the 80-20 rule. If you do eat properly and you train properly, you'll achieve the results you want to achieve.
I think the 80-20 nutrition is so true. I've had weeks where I've been away for work and haven't been able to commit to the exercise that I normally do, and generally I will train 5 to 6 times a week. So to not train 5 to 6 times a week and only maybe get one session in, you do go into panic mode. But those weeks I've really concentrated on my nutrition and made sure it's been spot on, and while I may not have lost any weight that week, I've maintained it. So the fact that you can do that if you might be sick or you're away for work or whatever it is, there's still no reason you can't follow your nutrition plans, and definitely your diary is the key. And the thing I like about keeping the diary is if I've had a bad week, I can go back and see why. As long as Steve said, you need to be honest in your diary and honest to yourself. But the other good thing is you can have a really, really good week, and you might go through a plateau for a couple of weeks and you go, you know what, that really good week I had, I'm going to go back and have a look at that, and I will, and I'll follow that plan again, and it just kick-starts me. So the diary is an awesome part of your journey. That I've got 2 years worth of diaries at home now that I'll flick through sometimes and it gives you ideas for meals. Sometimes you become in a bit of a rut because I guess you just part of life, you get into a rut, but you can go back and reinvent things, which is good. To stay on track and keep on your journey, I believe you need to be self-motivated. You need to want to be there. So you can say you want to be there, but I think you need to mentally get to a point where you want to be there. And then to keep going, just look at the results that Vision produces. I mean, I'm catching up with people 2 years down the track. I've just started back in a job that I was doing 2 years ago, and I'm meeting people who haven't seen me for 2 years, and they're walking past me. They don't even realise it's me, which is, I kind of laugh about it because I don't think my face has changed that much, but just the reaction you get from people, and from a female's point of view, honestly, going in and buying clothes off the rack, it's been a long time since I've been able to do that, and it just makes life easier. But also just, I guess, my entire lifestyle's changed, and they're the things you remember, going for a bike ride, going and have a picnic, all those little things that you do, but you're just doing them. But dropping that amount of weight has just changed my life dramatically, and I never want to go back. So I kind of say I'm never giving up on this journey because it's always going to be a part of my life. It's got to be your lifestyle as opposed to going to do this for 2 years and then go back to old habits, because old habits are going to take you back to the old you.
Yeah, and I think the real key is to set your goals and be realistic with your goals. But when you set out to achieve them, coming through Vision and the training that we do and the eating plans that we have, nothing's unachievable. You can do whatever you want. And the key is, I think the real key is it's the circle of influence. We're lucky we have the circle of influence at home because we both come here. But before I started here, Kate had the right circle of influence at home as well, because I supported her in what she did, and I guess we got to a point where she inspired me to come, and that's why I started. And it's made it easier for us. There's no reason, whether it's one person in the family coming or the whole family coming, the results that people start to see and the changes they see in you excite them, and they make comment about it, and it keeps you focused and keeps you going. I'd challenge anybody to come to Vision and not achieve their goals.